Welcome back to Garden Talk, brought to you by the Penn State Erie County Extension Master Gardeners. I'm your co-host for today, Mike Bailey, along with Ellen DePlacido. Ellen, we've been talking about trees the last few sessions, and we're not done, are we?
No, we're not.
No, we're going to talk about some general planting principles today when it comes to trees and shrubs.
Okay.
We covered a lot of material on, selecting something and the different options for purchasing, et cetera, and stuff like that. But now this planting, this is it. This is important.
This is most important.
Yeah, because you've made some good decisions up to now. You've researched things. You've taken a look, and now we got to put it in the ground. So, what are some of the common steps that you might want to walk through here, Ellen?
Well, first of all, make sure you know your tree that you're planting. If you're not familiar with trees and that, why don't you do a little bit of research and go on to a reputable site?
You're right. You probably already should have done that,
right?
Okay? Because
Before
we're standing in the front yard now,
right?
Or the backyard.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And again, hopefully you've done this also, because remember we said in the previous sessions, make sure you plan ahead. So hopefully you have a location that's going to work for the tree that you purchased.
For the tree that's going to grow for 50 years
from now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And be a good size.
So you want to give a good base for your tree and make sure that you place it in a hole. I guess it's just called a hole that's at least 2 to 3 times the diameter of the tree's root structure.
Okay, fine.
At the bag, where you have.
I've always heard people say you put a $50 tree in a $100 hole.
Right.
Okay,
right.
Is what it amounts to. So that should kind of be your guide as to what we're going to do. You can't make the hole too big.
No.
But you can make it too deep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You got to keep in mind that tree roots move out in a
not
lateral
down.
direction,
Right.
not down.
Right.
There's a little bit of down root.
A little bit.
But primarily, it's in an outward direction. So you do that, okay?
Yeah, you don't want that hole to be too much deeper than the height of the root ball, because remember, that's just what we mentioned. So plan on, like, for example, at least a 30-inch wide hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
For your root balls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and you got to...
Because you don't really want a hole going all just down. You want more of a trough area so that those roots have a chance to flare out.
Right. And talk about flaring out.
Mm-hmm.
The key to planting a tree is putting the root flare, at or just above the surrounding soil level. Now, the root flare is with that spot at the bottom of the trunk where the roots kind of branch out and start to go into a lateral direction. It's very important not to plant the tree deeper than that, not to bury that root flare, in the soil. And it's also, very important not to put it too far above.
Right.
If you're going to err, if you have to err, I'd probably put it a little bit further
higher
up, than further down in, because you can always move some additional soil around that, without a problem. But you're not going to take it away. So, you place that tree in the hole. You step back and you see whether you like it, right?
Right. Does that look good?
Yeah, give me your good side. Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
You might have to turn it a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. I do that. I
right.
put it in the hole and I walk back, I step back and I go look at it from a couple of different directions and say, is this what I want or not? So,
and is it straight or is it a 45-degree angle or something like that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Then what do you do, Ellen?
Well, what you don't do, first of all, you fill the hole about halfway with the soil that you've taken out of that hole.
That's right. It's important.
Don't bring in something different.
Yeah.
Fill it up with the soil that you removed.
No amendments.
Right.
No fertilizer.
Don't add
no
anything
nothing.
To it.
Just the soil. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to create a bowl in that soil with all the nice nutrients where the roots are going to say, I like it in the bowl.
I'm going to stay here.
I'm going to stay in the bowl.
Right.
No, you don't want that, because then you're going to discourage the root growth going in an outward lateral direction. So kind of keep that in mind. That's kind of a simple way of putting it, but that works.
Then you want to make sure you soak that soil and allow that water to sink in before then you complete filling the hole with the rest of the soil that you took out.
Yep.
So, and then you want to water it again.
Then you want to water it again. But then you're going to mulch. All right. But you're going to want to mulch about 12 to 18 inches out from the trunk of the tree.
Not up.
and not up. None of these volcanoes, okay, that people, build up, 6, 10, 12, 15 inches around their tree. The bark of the tree is not designed to be covered by soil or bark. You're inviting disease if you do that. And the reason we put the mulch out there is because we don't want grass growing up close to the trunk of the tree, because there's some competition for nutrients. But one of the biggest things is that, the biggest killer of trees are string trimmers. Okay? Death by string trimmer. We see it all the time. And you may have seen it in your own yard.
Right.
So you keep the mulch away from that trunk, okay, and you only stake it if the tree is exposed to a lot of wind. Ideally, you don't want to stake it because you want that tree to get strong. You want it to be able to be working back and forth a little bit in that wind. But if you're planting it at a particular time of year and you think you need some stakes, put it in, but don't leave them in there for more than a year.
Right.
Okay? And water them 2 or 3 times a week. And
Soak
and watch the leaves. If the leaves are getting brown around the edges, okay, that means you're not giving the tree enough moisture.
Right.
So you got to water it. So good basic principles but now we're going to jump into the specifics for bare root, balled and burlapped, and containers. So thank you for listening. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.